Welcome to Marked Up Live.
What's up? It's Thursday. Welcome out to Marked Up Live, everybody. What's going on tonight? Oh, man. It's warming up a little bit. Now it's starting to rain. What's going on over here, people? Man, I can't be living like this, man. Welcome out to Marked Up Live. I got Gerry Gibbs tonight, man. This is going to be a great show. And don't forget to start your watch parties. Knock it all out because this is going to be a great show. I already have musicians already hitting me up. And we're going to be having a great show tonight. So, without further ado, I have Gerry Gibbs out of New York, and he's going to be with me tonight. And we're going to be talking a little bit about his career. Obviously, this guy's a great, excellent musician, performer, arranger, composer, producer, just down the line, man. And I'm very honored to have him here on the show. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show some really cool video and get you guys started up so we can start getting this interview underway. I'm not going to talk about any kind of politics, man, because it's kind of like driving me crazy, so forget kind of some of that stuff. But I do want to say that I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are healthy. Hope you guys are taking care of your bodies. And, you guys already know how I am from week to week. I just want to make sure that you guys are good. So just, please keep focusing on your health. Stay out of the danger zone, and if you guys need any help, please please feel free to call me anytime you want. Hit me up. You guys already know how to get a hold of me. I love you guys. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get Mr. Gerry Gibbs with some video here, and I will see you guys in a quick second, man. We'll see you in a minute. You guys have been marked up. Start your live watch parties. I'll see you in a second. Wow. That was nice. All right. Dude, I have some people that we have to say hello to. We got Augie out there. We have Michelle Carey. We got Abai out there. I'm sure Pat's watching. And I want to say hello to my guest tonight, to Mr. Gerry Gibbs. What's up, man? What's up? Come on, talk to me.
San Antonio. How you guys doing?
All right, man. Well, thank you for being on the show, bro.
Oh, man. Well, man, we go back quite a ways.
Yeah, we sure do.
I've been watching your show. I watch your show. I've been all over the place, but I've been watching you, checking you out.
All the way from New York City, right? Isn't that right, my friend? That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much again for being on the show. And so talk to me, man. How are things been going with you? I mean, what's it like in Gerry world right now? Because everybody's going through, pandemic stuff.
Well, it's COVID world,
of course.
And but not for me though. I've been traveling all over the world with my orchestra, and we play, and of course nobody shows up, and we don't get paid because there's nobody can come to see us play. But we do anyways. We get on airplanes. We're the only ones on the plane, and we show up to the hotel. We're the only ones in the hotel. All that is actually not true. None of that's true. No, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, we're in a whole new world, and I guess it's almost like we're like as performing artists, musicians, anybody in the art world, the different types of entertainment actors. We're just all on a break, I guess, until. And I guess when we come out of it, it'll be new. We won't know what to expect. We won't know how it'll be. how the new way that we'll perform, and it could take a long time. And I mean, people are doing the internet thing, where they're doing a lot of internet concerts and things like that. But
the live streams.
I don't know how long that's going to, I mean, if you've got 10,000 musicians doing it all at once, it's pretty rough, And I kind of make this an analogy where I say, if you're an artist that travels all over the world, and let's just use the States, for example, and, if you are supposed to play in St. Louis on Tuesday night, well, that's the only night for the whole year that St. Louis has to come and see you play. Then you're on your way to Chicago the next night, and you're there maybe for 2 or 3 nights. Well, they only got 2 or 3 nights to hear you. Yeah. And then you're on your way to Detroit, and you got 2 nights there. Well, they only got a night or 2 to hear you then. They got to wait a whole year until you're back again. But if everybody's streaming at the same time,
yes, they are.
Then that's, after a while, it's like you may get 20 million people to watch you, but then are they going to watch you the next night or the next night? Because you're not really coming through town. You're in their town every night. It's like playing in the same city every night for a year. It wouldn't work. So it's a tricky thing, and I think it's going to, people are going to have to come up with other ways to do things. Although, like I said, some clubs are 25% capacity, so you can play in front of 20 or 30 people. But I don't know how long if that continues, how long that will sustain a club to make money and for artists to make money. So we just have to wait and see what it is. So I've been trying to get involved in a million other things that deal with music. Right. Since this has happened, I've been with this beautiful record label for 14, 15 years called Wailing City Sound, and I guess we had talked earlier. And I'm working on this really grand project with people like Chick Corea and Stanley Clarke and all these people on it, and so I've been having to travel to make that happen. But then I'm working on my own little internet label where since I can't play with other musicians, I just play all the instruments myself. And I record everything myself. And I play the drums and the keyboard and the piano and sing and the bass and percussion and so forth. And I write all the music. So and I'm working on the solo piano record, this second instrument for me. So I just try to do whatever you can to keep busy. Otherwise, I mean, because who knows how long this will last, And
how many instruments do you play?
473. Yeah. Okay, how many do I play decent? Was that the question?
Just
0.
Yeah, just 0. Pick up your instrument and.
No, you know what? I play drums and I play enough piano and keyboards to play my own music. I can't play anybody else's music, but I can write and play my own music. And I play acoustic and electric bass, and I play all the percussion, and then I'll do a bunch of voice overdubs and things like that. So
yeah, you do voice overdubs?
Well, yeah.
Show me something.
Let me see.
I'm putting him on the
re,
spot.
mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. do. Wait, do. No, that's not right. Do. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, something like that. That works, right?
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, forget about that.
Okay, so who else we have here looking in here, man? I'm trying to look at
Oh, man, all my old San Antonio people.
Yes.
You and I go way back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do, man. Let's get us both on the screen here.
Oh, okay.
A little bit better.
What's happening? There you are.
Peace. And so I know that, of course, like for a lot of us, same old thing, man. We're just going to kind of keep riding this thing until we actually get more opportunities to get the gigs and, all that good stuff. Of course, a lot of us are just kind of doing different things with our lives now. A lot of things have changed, obviously. And kudos to everybody who's like trying to build and try to, move forward during this kind of a pandemic type of thing. But yeah, going back to what you were saying about playing all these instruments, and I think we're going to show a video here in a little bit about you doing some of that, because of course we were under a pandemic, we are still under a pandemic, but you actually took that time, man, to actually like just start writing, creating, doing a pandemic gig with yourself in your home, and and you're recording yourself, man. Not a gig, but you know what I mean. So I think and that's why I asked, how many instruments do you play? Because I can always think about like Stevie Wonder, man, like when he's recording his album, the songs in the Key of Life, he did everything, or a lot of it, so I think about stuff like that. But anyways, all right, so I know that this is one thing that I want to kind of start off with real quick, man, is I know that we were talking about how we met. So
you're asking me how we first met?
How do we meet?
Okay.
I love this.
Well, all right, man. You know what? It's really funny because your producer sent me a message, and he just said, Marc would hear some of the questions and things. And so I sent him something. And the reason why I sent it to him is I thought, why would Marc want to ask that? And if I said it, people would think like, well, what are you talking about, Gerry? So, okay, so I guess when I first met Marc, it was very interesting. I had came to play a concert in San Antonio, and somebody was filming me. I guess I was signing some autographs or something, and I guess you were there. So your producer actually has the video. I guess he's listening to me now.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I guess let him play it. I hope you're not going to be embarrassed, Marc.
And this is kind of during my thug days.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah.
And this is myself and Gabriel Herrera, which is a killer percussionist. Used to.
Well, Gabe played in my band for years when I was spending time in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And he's on one of my Miles Davis Bitches Brew record, doing some things. But yeah, this was both of you guys under a different light that I don't recognize anymore. But it was filmed. Somebody filmed it, and you're cool. They're gonna play it. Okay.
We're gonna play this, dude.
Well, you're brave. Go ahead.
Here we go. This is so cool. Marc Up Live.
Hey folks, Gerry Gibbs here. I just finished the most successful week here in San Antonio, Texas, with a sold-out concert tonight at the Laurie Auditorium. I was the special guest. I want to thank everybody in San Antonio. Looks like I've got some fans coming over right now. They probably want an autograph. Who are you? I'm Gerry Gibbs. Did you see me tonight? I think these guys want autographs. Have you ever been cut, Gerry Gibbs? I got a paper cut on my finger once. He needs your money now. I should have worked on my Spanish. Oh, my wallet. Yeah. Your money. Yeah, sure. Here you go. They probably want to buy a soda. I need a phone. I need to use that phone, man. Yeah, there's a soda machine across the way. Oh, man, I just want a phone. Yeah, I'm a cut China, west side, north side, east side. What do you think about that, Gerry Gibbs? Well, your phone seems nice.
Wow. Well, I guess probably more lucky for you that the guy actually turned the camera off and walked away, and I had nothing. I couldn't prosecute you guys, but in the end, we became great buddies, so it worked out perfect.
Dude, okay. So we
Actually,
were.
let me go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I think that spot was at the Friendly Spot. It was here in San Antonio, and we made our way across the street. I'm trying to remember the story, but yeah,
I came to play a concert. Aaron Prado
Yes,
here
exactly.
in San Antonio had written this huge undertaking, and he kept wanting to bring me out on something. But he had a drummer. He had a great drummer out here, Darren Cooper. And so he was going to bring me out, and I said, if you bring me out, and he didn't know if I would want to do that, but because he had already been thinking about that, and I said, man, don't replace Darren, just put us both on there. And we both played drums together. And then after it was over, we went over to the Friendly Spot for some tacos.
Yeah.
And actually, you and I met in 2000. Now I'm going to tell the real story because it's actually
exactly right.
And I know you have a million fans out here, so they're going to think, wow, Marc, what a guy.
2 million.
I'm going to make you look good right now, buddy. Of course, you can't look much better than you just looked in that video, but anyway, so I was spending time in San Antonio. I was started to date Paula Sullivan, and we started Carmen's Della Calle Cafe.
Right.
And so I had this great band, Renee Sines and Andy Langham, Brandon Rivas, and we were playing all this original music, and I wanted to document it. But I didn't know of any studios in Texas, and I was thinking, if I could get some equipment, I could do it myself, because we had this club. I can just set the whole thing up. But I didn't have any, I didn't really live here. I was just kind of back and forth. And so I was talking to the guys, and you were standing there, and I don't even think I was even paying any attention. You were just, you were a friend of a friend that was just hanging out right there when I was talking, and you were just kind of listening, just listening. And I said, man, if I can get some recording equipment somewhere. And then you were like, excuse me, what do you need? And I'm thinking like, who are you?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, man, look, I got a mixer. I got a 24 channel mixer. I got a bunch of ADATs. I got a ton of microphones. Man, I'm getting ready to work on a project, but not for a few weeks. And man, if you're friends with these guys, I know all these guys, I trust you. I couldn't believe it. And so like a few days later, I went by your place, and man, you ended up loading up the car with like $20,000 worth of mics and tons of. I'm going like, who is this guy? Who would do this? But you knew that I knew a lot of this. You knew the guys in the band, and man, and just for nothing, you didn't want anything, but you loaned me all this equipment, and we ended up recording a project together. So
Yes,
that was really something.
Oh,
So-
by the way, I sent you an invoice. You never got it?
Well, no, but I know that. That's funny that you said that. I see what happened. Okay, see the thing is okay. See at the time.
What happened was. That's cool. Well, man, it was my pleasure to lend you that stuff, man. And like if we take it back to Brandon real quick, Brandon Rivas, and he's watching right now.
Is Brandon's not? So Brandon's not in jail now.
Brandon's not in jail anymore.
Oh, good. Okay, now that's perfect.
He runs the jail.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He's a cop now.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a bass player in my band
Deputy.
for years that was the last guy you would have ever thought could have been a cop, and then he became a great cop. Apparently, like a real high profile cop, not just like any cop. And it's like, wow, and so now he's but he still plays great. So he's playing gigs, and then after the gigs, he goes out and he saves people.
Yeah, he goes and see. Yeah, he's got an office job. I don't think he's saving too many people.
Well, he's saving them.
Brandon.
No,
Love you, brother.
he's saving people by not walking out there with a gun. See, if he
Thank
was
you.
otherwise he'd just be shooting anybody. Like, hey, you, what are you doing? Nothing, just
Boom.
going for a walk. Boom. That's you know what I'm talking about, and he knows what I'm talking about.
B-Dog is that guy. He'd
That
be
is
the one that we
B-Dog.
have to be worrying about if
Yeah.
he was out there on the streets.
The thing that a lot of people don't know, it's funny, during the time that I had spent here, which was 98, 2005, 2006, I had started a trio, and I had started a big band, and we had everybody in the world come to play with our band, with James Moody, Clark Terry, John Hendricks, Tom Harrell, Dewey Redman, Sam Rivers, John Abercrombie, Mike Stern, Robbie Coltrane, John Hendricks. I said that my father, Terry Gibbs, all kinds of people. People don't really know, because San Antonio doesn't really have an out-of-town club. You don't see a lot of out of town. I know that they have musical bridges and a few things that bring some great concerts here, but you don't have a club like Arizona would have the Nash, where national acts come through all through the week, like you know, and everybody passes, you know, hundreds of the same musicians every year rotate and play these places, and so a lot of people don't really realize it's how many incredible musicians San Antonio has. So when I started spending time here, to be honest with you, I wasn't really thinking that, you know, I was like, well, I have this girlfriend and I'm just going to hang out here and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's not going to be any big deal. And then I started to meet one after the next, after the next, after the next. And I was like, man, I could start a big band. I could, all these incredible musicians and what an incredible scene that San Antonio had. And then Luna opened, so you can have jazz there. And then Carmen's de la Calle, which was Paula Sullivan's place, which is still there, and bringing in jazz. So, yeah, Randy Brecker. God, I mean, there's a million names I could mention that we brought. Larry Coryell, Gary Bartz, just there was even more. I'm trying to remember everybody that we brought. But yeah, San Antonio had such an amazing music scene that I was able to really create a lot of stuff and do a lot of stuff here. And then I decided to spend some time in LA, and 5 San Antonio musicians ended up. It was a drag. I brought them to LA. They wanted to stay together as a band, but as soon as all 5 got to LA, they were getting calls left and right from Pancho Sanchez and Billy Childs and everybody on the scene. Man, we couldn't really stay together as a band because it was the type of band where we had nothing written out. But if we did, it would have been like 12 pages of music for every song. Oh, man. And so we never could sub. We could never sub the band out. So if 1 or 2 guys were not available, we wouldn't be able to do the gig. So we lasted about 2 years. And then I decided I wanted to get back to New York. And so I made my way back to New York. And then maybe a year later, I started the trio with Ron Carter and Kenny Barron, the Thrasher Dream Trio. We made some records and made 3 records, and so that was it. I'm still in contact with tons of San Antonio musicians. Joan Carroll I talk to on a regular basis, and Adrian Ruiz, and a lot of the really great musicians that are here, which there's a ton of them.
Yeah, man, there's some great talent in San Antonio, man, for sure. And but you were born and raised in New York?
I was born in New York, raised in Southern California.
Raised in Southern California.
Yeah, born and I was raised in Southern California. And then I moved to New York when I was 23, I guess.
23?
Yeah, 23.
You're a baby.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true. We were just talking about your daughter, and you said 24, and I said, God, she's a baby. And yes. I guess when you're 57, the 24-year-old look like a baby.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Hey, we have some shout outs real quick going on here. So let me, we have some of the people, our guests were laughing at our video. And then we have Augie. He's loving your sound, man. He's a producer here in San Antonio. And he's actually referring to some of the stuff because we went to Holmes High School together. Holmes High School, baby. Go Huskies. And he said,
is Augie the one you went to jail with? Yeah. He's the one that you went to jail with, right? Yeah.
Which time?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding. And Michelle says, amazing. Brandon says, love. Yeah, Brandon. And Casey, want to say hi to Casey. And let me see. Michelle's talking to Gabe Hedera over here. She's chatting online. And
I just sent Michelle Carey. She's a amazing singer. And during the time I was here, Joan Carroll was singing with me. And actually, Joan Carroll, I ended up hooking her up with my dad. She ended up recording with my dad and Hubert Laws, and she's like my best girl friend, my best female friend, and she's like my sister, and so I don't think since I left in the last 12, 13 years, there's not a week goes by we don't talk. And but Michelle, I had such interest in working with, and she was so busy during the time I was here. We finally just talked about something. I just sent her some tracks because she just put up this video the other day with her husband Pat, and I know Pat's arranging. He's a real monster arranger, and man, it was like wow, so. Yeah, I mean, this is so much talent, but she's really something.
She's got pipes.
Yeah, she's really something.
Yeah, she's got pipes, man.
Actually, when I had my big band, I wrote all the arrangements, but Pat Carey actually asked me to play one of his big band arrangements, and everybody in the band was like, Pat Carey writes big band music? Like, really? And, because everybody knows him for being a funk bass player. Man, he wrote some great... he wrote some great stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of talent there.
That's
you know.
funky. That's funky. But you know, man, I know that one of the big things that I really wanted to kind of talk to you about a little bit was your collaboration with the late great Chick Corea, rest in peace. Tell me a little bit about that and how you actually, were working with him.
Well, it's really interesting because the record label that I've been with, Whaling City Sound Records, I made 13 records for them. Mm-hmm. And last year it was time for me to make another one. And so I told them what I had in mind, which was this elaborate project to have these. I started my Thrasher Dream Trio with Ron Carter and Kenny Barron. We made 3 albums. And we had guests, Cassandra Wilson, Roy Hargrove, Warren Wolf, Larry Golding, Steve Wilson, on different records, and they were very different. One was a more straight-ahead jazz record. Then the other one was all R&B music that was turned into swing music. Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie, Marvin Gaye, but it was all swinging. And then we did a record of all elevator music. I wanted to do stuff. Muzak. Yeah, music. Stuff that I grew up hearing in the elevator going on my way to the dentist's office when I was a little boy. You remember those tunes like da 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 da. I remember I told Ron and Kenny, and they said, "Are you out of your mind?" I said, "Well, you already know I am. Been around me enough." And they were like, all right. And I said, and then I talked to the record label and I said, man, I really like to add Cassandra Wilson and Roy Hargrove. So they were like, well, if they'll do it. So I said, okay. I contacted them and I had the record planned. I had the record arranged and all the musicians on board and the dates and everything set up within about 5 hours. Wow. It was incredible. It was like I couldn't believe it. I woke up that morning having no idea that was going to happen. And then later on that evening, I'm having dinner with my wife, Keisha, and I said, wow, what a crazy day. I got the confirmation from the record label. I got the okay for everything that I wanted to do. I got all the music written down. We wrote it all down, kind of had in my mind how I would put it together. And we wanted to do it live. And so we were going to record live at the studio. And the studio could sit about 150 people. And I wanted only musicians there, 2 days. And so that was all set up. Cassandra was down. Roy was down. Kenny and Ron were down. And bam, it went so smooth. And then, it was a concept on them, but I wanted to have 4 dream trios that I grew up desiring to have. Wow. And I haven't talked about this online because I wanted to wait because the record doesn't come out until August. The record's pretty much done. Okay. But I guess I can say exactly what it is. So it's one trio with Stanley Clarke and Patrice Rushen, one trio with Kenny Barron and Buster Williams, one trio with Christian McBride and Jeff Keezer, and then one trio with Chick Corea and Ron Carter. And so at that point with pandemic, I had did this recording when pandemic started. I remember Keisha was like, "Hey, the Blue Note's closing down." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, there's this disease, this COVID thing or something." I was like, "Man, I heard something about it on the radio." Within a few days, New York was shut down and everybody was in panic. And there was a real panic. Everybody was really freaked out. We're all on top of each other in New York, so everybody was just like, and everything closed. I mean, bam, bam, bam. It was like streets were vacant, subways were shut off, and so everybody was like freaked out. And we thought, well, I wonder how long we're gonna go like this. So I decided it could go on for weeks. So I called my record label and I said, what am I supposed to do? Because I was supposed to start getting things together. Right. And they said, no, I hadn't talked to the record label about Ron and Chick yet. Okay. I was going to use Ron, but I won't mention names, but I had somebody else in mind and I hadn't set that up yet. Okay. So right at that point I had all the trios except I did not have the trio with Ron Carter and myself set up. I just know that, of course, Ron was going to be part of that, because we've done so much stuff over the years together, and it's Ron Carter, and if he's willing to do it, then of course. So my record label said we're gonna have to shut down right now. We're not gonna do anything right now, but hold on to your money, hold on to the budget. I know you're good. We know everything's cool. Let's just see where we go with COVID. So I said, hey, do you mind if I made a record? I got nothing to do. In my own recording studio, I have built a recording studio where I live. And they were like, who's going to put it out? I said, well, I'm just going to put it on the internet. I'm not even going to sell it. I'm just going to give it away for free. And they said, nah, go ahead. We don't care. So I spent 2 weeks writing every day and playing all the instruments and I sent your producer a video so later on you can show it of the process of doing it.
Right.
And I called it. My wife came up with the title "Emotional Pandemic" because while I was recording it, we were very panicked. We were real freaked out.
Yes.
Here, all day long, I'm recording, and most of the time, Keisha would be in the studio with me, but she would just be on the computer reading, and we'd be going like, "Man, what's going on?" But I just kept recording because it's like I had to do something. So when I did it, I gave out like maybe 1,000 downloads of it, and I had a lot of people on my email list.
Yeah, I got one.
And I sent it to Chick. I said, he's not going to listen to it. Most of these people won't listen to it. But I'm just going to send it anyway. And 2 weeks later, I end up getting an email from Chick Corea. And he says, Gerry, I listened to your Pandemic record twice, and I'd like to talk to you about it. Can you please send me your number? So I was like, wow. So I sent, I sent the number, and an hour later he called me. He's like, man, Gerry, I was really, really impressed by this thing and all the writing, and man, it sounds like Bach wrote all this kind of stuff today. And I was like, wow, I didn't know what to say. Like I was so embarrassed. And so he says, man, we should do something. And I was like, man, this is crazy, But of course, with pandemic, you can't do anything. So I just blurted it out. I just said, Chick, would you play on my new record? And he said, yeah, of course. I was like, wow. And he said, what do you have in mind? Your music's pretty hard. I mean, is it going to be some of your hard music? I said, well, I'm not really sure yet. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I can't rehearse. Pandemic. I got all these different great trios, but how am I going to rehearse? And really, these people are known. Anybody could play your music, but these are the greatest improvisers on the planet.
Yes.
So I was sitting with my wife and we were talking, and I said, Keisha, what should I do? She goes, why don't you do your dad's music? You keep saying you want to do a record of all your dad's music. You know all those songs. You sing them in the house and you play them on your gigs. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. So I called Chick up and I said, Chick, I'm going to change up. I'm going to do my dad's music. Now, Chick played his first gigs with my dad when he was like maybe 21 or 22. He actually subbed and played some gigs with my dad, but they hadn't seen each other since then. Of course, they know each other. Chick knows my dad knows Chick, but they just hadn't really crossed paths. So every once in a while when I'd see Chick, he'd be like, hey, how's your dad? I said, oh, he's great. He said, oh, man, that's Terry Gibbs' son, one of those. And over the years, one of those. So yeah. So, but then what ended up happening is I said, Chick, I'm not going to do my music. I'm going to do my dad's music. And he's like, oh man, that's wonderful. Man, why don't you let me write a song for Terry? Let me do that. That'd be great. And I was like, wow. He said, Gerry, can I get and be involved in more? Can I help you with our tracks? We produce them together and just kind of come up with a thing. I want to keep my Chick Corea sound. I don't really do a lot of sideman stuff. And then if we do this, we can do this now. And then I got some ideas for some other things later. So I was going like, man, that was amazing. Like, this is going to be like a new relationship with Chick. We're going to do this, and then maybe there might be some other stuff later. He's kind of throwing ideas. Well, we recorded the music with Ron, and it came out really great. And Chick wrote some pretty elaborate arrangements on my dad's music. I'd written some arrangements already, and he just said, Gerry, I love the idea. Can I open that one part up here and move that and do this? And I was like, yeah, sure, Chick, because he wanted to whip out his mini Moog and all these things. So he got more involved than I would ask him. Usually guys show up and they just do the record and they play great and that's it. But he wanted to really get involved with it, and he wanted to talk about a bunch of overdubs and stuff like that. So it started to become like a friendship. Like every week we talked.
Wow.
For about 6 months. We would just talk. One time he called me at 2 a.m, and my wife and I are sitting there watching TV, and the phone rings, and I said, look, it's Chick Corea. And I was like, he must have butt dialed. He's like, why would he be calling me at 2 a.m.? And I answered the phone, and all of a sudden he's like, guess who? And I've been working on my solo piano videos, and he was interested in seeing some of them. So he asked me, have these things been written out? Are they out? Are you publishing them? Are they written out? And I was like, no, they're just not yet. He's, you got to write them out. And he's like telling me what I should do and this and that at 2 a.m. And I thought, oh man, this is great. So I had this idea for one song where I wanted everybody to play on the same song. So I wanted 32 bars with every musician that was on the record: Christian McBride, Jeff Keezer, Stanley Clarke, Patrice Rushen, Ron Carter, Chick Corea, Kenny Barron, Buster Williams. And I did a drum track, and everybody put their stuff on it. And Chick was supposed to put a 32 bar solo on it. And so he said, let me go last so I can hear everything. Let me go last. So I sent it to him, and he said, man, Jerry, I'm not feeling good. You know, I hurt my ribs. I think exercising, I pulled my ribs. And he said, man, I can barely play the piano. So you got to give me a few weeks. And so I didn't want to bother him, but we weren't talking every week. And sometimes he would just call me for no reason. He just called me, you know, and we'd be on the phone for a while, just rapping about whatever. And so basically that had stopped. And then he would send me I said, well, I guess I could call him. So I call him, and he didn't answer, but he would text me back almost immediately. And, you know, I keep itching. My nose is itching. And I look like I'm like doing a bunch of cocaine. Everybody that knows me knows I don't do anything. They know I'm as straight as an arrow. The only thing I'm doing,
I have to vouch for that.
My coconut water. But anyway, sorry. My nose
I
is
vouch
just
for that.
My nose is just itchy. I kept thinking, I said, boy, this looks bad. Like, wow, Jerry's all high on the Marc show. Like, sorry. Everybody that knows me knows I'm like a complete square. Anyway, he would text me and go, Jerry, I'm laying down, you know. And then he sent me one last text saying, I think I'm going to need to lay low for a few weeks. So let me call you sometime in March, and then I'll get that 32 bar thing. I'll overdub it and I'll send it to you, and we'll just do it like that.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then but you know what? But when he passed, all his closest people are all people that I know. You know, all the guys that have worked in his bands over the last 30 or 40 years are all friends of mine. And I spoke to a bunch of them, and they all said, man, Chick didn't tell anybody. And so then I spoke to his manager, and the trippiest part is that she said, you know, just so you know, because she's his manager, she knows everything that he does, your record will be the last record Chick would have ever played on. You know, and it was amazing because he was very involved. He wanted to hear how it was mixed. He wanted to hear the sound of his piano. He wanted to choose the reverb used on his piano. He wanted a lot of back and forth. And so it was, you know, and I looked at it as maybe he was seeing how we work together, and because I do a lot of production stuff and he does a lot of that. And so it was very cool. And it was, you know, but at the same time, it was like, wow, I just couldn't believe it. But apparently that thing in his ribs was where the cancer was, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, so Ron and Chick and I recorded these 4 tunes, and it was my father's music, and Chick took my arrangements and took them out to, like, they sound like Chick Corea songs. Mm-hmm. And it's very cool. So this whole record, I'm doing all my father's music, and it wasn't that you know, when you do your own record, you want to do your own music. You know, it's your own music. But if I wasn't going to do my music, I just couldn't go in and record standards or songs that have been done. It's something that has to mean something to me, has to be part of who I am. Otherwise, I just would rather just do it myself. Like, I did do a tribute record in the past to all the Weather Report music, and I did one to McCoy Tyner, and those were 2 of the most influential people in my entities that were most influential in my life. And I had been thinking about doing a Chick thing at some point.
That's nice.
But then when my wife said, your dad, I was like, you know what? There's not that. Now that would be a no-brainer, because I've been singing his songs. I'm 57 now. I've been singing his songs for 51, 52 years. And they're some of them are really simple and easy to play, but they have an infectious element to them where you could sing them back. And that was the beauty, is that guys were able to come in and just, you know, immediately identify with the melodies and go, wow, these are really catchy. And then they can do what everybody wants to hear them do, which is improvise, you know. And so they were a great vehicle. So I'm really proud of it. And it's going to come out in August.
That's amazing, man. And okay, so I have to ask, aside from everything that you told me about Chick Corea, you know, when he called you, what is it like getting called at 2 a.m. by Chick Corea?
Well, I didn't care, you know. I mean, you know, he called me at 5 a.m. Of course, I'm still up at 5 in the morning. I'm still up at 2 in the morning. No, it was just, I had sent Chick these solo piano things, and he's like, "Oh man, I saw that you sent this to me a few hours ago, and I listened to them. I figured you're still up." It's like, so it was, he was a very different type of person because, and I always knew this, but I never had any involvement with him.
Right.
But I know that he'd be on tour, and every single night he would add more things to the same songs, rearrange his own arrangements, because he heard something new that night, or he decided to get rid of something, or he wanted to add something else. And, I think that kind of work ethic is something that's influenced me from some of those guys that are more than just players. They're conceptualizers, and that's what they try to do, So,
well, you mentioned your emotional pandemic. So, again, so you recorded your emotional pandemic. You're doing all the instrumentation. You get one of the cuts, and you send it off to Chick Corea, and that's when he.
Well, I sent him the whole thing.
Right?
It was 18 tracks.
It was 18 tracks.
Right, and then he contacted me 2 weeks later, which to my surprise, he was like, "Hey, I heard this thing, and I'd like to talk to you."
Wonderful.
And he wanted to talk about how I went about doing the process of
Yes.
what I did and how it was done and this and that and so man, that's if I hadn't done that, then this situation would not have it would not have happened.
And do you think you had like a little more motivation on sending him one of the cuts or the track because?
Well, I wrote a song for him actually. No,
because your dad and him were kind of so.
Because it was really interesting. Chick knew I was a drummer,
right?
And he knew I had these trio things with Ron and Kenny because I'd given it to him when he come to town. I'd give it to him. And no, because I think what he had in mind is we were going to do music like what I did from Emotional Pandemic. He didn't know that it was going to be a straight ahead jazz thing. Originally, it wasn't going to be straight ahead jazz. It was going to be more of my kind of crazy, wild, thing of music. And so, no, so it wasn't that because he at first he didn't sign on to do that, but once he did. Once I told him that was going to be my dad's music, he's like, "Let me write a song for your dad. It'll be great. I'll write a tribute song for him." I was like, "All right." Of course, I just wanted to do my dad's music. But I thought, well, this is cool. If somebody else, if Joe Schmo had asked, I would have said no. But it's Chick Corea. So I said, yeah. Chick it comes from the bebop era and then went into everything else. But Chick... his knowledge, you could sit there and talk about everybody that ever played in Duke Ellington's band. He'll tell you he knows all the names and people that only know him from one of these other genres of music, whether it's progressive rock, fusion, funk, jazz, swing, classical, avant-garde, whatever it is. His knowledge, he's checked out everything on the planet. And he just, and he's just like a little kid. He just wants to keep going. Like, let's talk about this. Let's do this. What about we do this? Jerry called me up on the car. I got an idea. I know we recorded everything already, but man, I was hearing a shaker. What do you think? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, let me send you something. And he sent me like a little audio recording of him clapping. He said, what about if you did a shaker like this? And then I'd say, all right, I'd just throw it on, and then he'd hear it back and he'd go, maybe I was wrong, but it was worth a try. I thought maybe the shaker would be right, but maybe not, But I was totally into that because that's how I work.
Right.
And so it was like a way to kind of bounce things off of each other. And usually I like to do it all myself, just because I have everything in my mind. But it's Chick Corea, so I'm not gonna, it's like everybody on the planet would like to. Go get Chick Corea's groceries. So if I can get Chick's groceries, I'm cool. If Chick called me to go get his groceries, I'm down. Just
don't forget the milk.
Just give me a grocery list. I'll go get your groceries. It's Chick Corea. Mark, the thing is, we all grew up idolizing this guy.
Yes, man.
And even his peers idolized him, just because of his ability to like write for a full symphony or do this or do that. It's like, it just never ended. And I guess to me, the greatest feeling of success that a musician, for me, has in the end is that I can say these were my friends, that I made friends with them. You know, I've spent holidays with Ron Carter. You know, to me that's something I'll remember more than playing with them, because it was like, wow, I got to share a holiday with Ron, you know, or playing in his.
Well, it
big
means
band.
more, because it's more like
Yeah,
the
it's
holidays together. Then that's more about.
Buster Williams has this great video.
What's
They
up?
just did Buster Williams. They just did a great video on him, and I couldn't get online, couldn't figure it out. So I called Buster, and Buster's helping me figure out how to get it on and do the. Yeah, he's doing. And then in the end, he's like, "Hey, man, I hope you like it," you know. And then when it was over, I wrote him back. I said, "Oh, man, Buster was great." And he wrote me back. He said, "Love you, Gerry. Man, thanks, man." And it's like, man, that means more to me than playing with the guy, you know. Although playing with them is like the greatest thing in the world. But so it was very cool, you know. So it was very cool.
Well, Eddie Rivas is saying hello. What's
Who?
up, Eddie? Eddie Rivas, Brandon's
God, I
nephew.
think I owe
Brandon's
him
uncle.
money. I owe
You
him
know,
money.
Eddie. What am I talking about? All right, so guys, welcome out to Marked Up Live. We're gonna go ahead and show that.
I love it. I think I was last time my big band played at Luna. He came by, or something I did when I was in town, and I played at Luna. That's the whole Rivas clan.
That's the whole.
See, even
Rivas clan.
they can't believe Brandon became a cop. His own dad. I said to his dad, I said, "Hey, how did Brandon become a cop?" And he just wrote, "I don't know." You know,
It's not even the word
surprise to
how.
him.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I love you, Brandon. I love you.
Brandon Rivas, for those that don't know Brandon Rivas, he's a great bass player. He's from New Orleans. He used to play with
No,
Donald.
he's born and raised here.
Okay,
but
all right.
educated in New Orleans.
Right. He played with Donald Harrison and a bunch of
Yes.
great musicians. And I think he did some stuff with Headhunters with Mike Clark and them. And he's a great bass player. And
Great cook.
oh yeah, you did tell me that.
Great
That's right.
cook. Yeah.
But Brandon, it's like being on the road with Brandon is like being on the road with he's like the Hispanic Groucho Marx. So you just go, really? Like, well, imagine Groucho if he became a Spanish Groucho Marx, the Mexican Groucho Marx becomes a cop, you know. But we just played, we played a gig. I don't know, when I was in town like a year and a half ago, and he sounded great, you know. So there you go.
My man. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and show the pandemic.
Oh yeah, so that was what that
your
was.
emotional pandemic.
Yeah, what that was is, so I just made I wanted to share the music with all my friends. So if anybody's interested in it that doesn't have it, send me an email or send Mark an email and get in touch with me, and I'll just send you all the files. I created a whole thing for it, and it wasn't to make money. I wanted to just share because I just did it, and
awesome.
and so what I did is I made a video. And that I could just put on Facebook and on YouTube. So if anybody was interested, they would see what it was about. But it was that music and that video that helped me, get that other thing happen that we talked about. So
Yeah,
that's
so we'll
what it
definitely
is.
talk about your website here. It's Gerry Gibbs, jerry-gibbs.com. And you can find stuff on there. It's a great website. And then also, your Facebook page and your YouTube channel. And we'll get all that information out to you guys in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and show the emotional pandemic video. Welcome out, everybody, to Marked Up Live. All right, we'll see you in a second with Gerry Gibbs. Party people, come on. I gotta ask, man, where's all this inspiration come from? I know you have your influences, but when I'm listening to this last cut, and you're doing everything on your own. Of course, you're in total, complete control of what's going on, and what you're producing and what you're creating. But what inspires that? I mean, because that's pretty deep. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, thanks. I don't know, a good sandwich or no. You know, I mean, you know, I have this aspiration to quit playing drums one day, to quit playing live music, and try and see if there's a way to get into the world of writing for film. It's something that it's like. It's another world, and it's like starting over, networking. It's like, man, it's so, you know, it's like, but you to try to put everything you have into it. So a lot of music, most everything I write is inspired by an image or a feeling of something, picturing something that's either happened in my life or that I've seen or something that I fantasized that happened, you know, and then putting what sounds like a soundtrack in my mind to fit. I mean, it's really interesting because you can get a piece of film and find 10 different styles of music, and all 10 styles fit differently, and give it a different feeling. And they can be like music that seems so unrelated, but it still kind of somehow works. This could sound like happy music, but somehow it fits this, or it can sound like sad music, but it still fits. And I guess that's the director's decision on what he's hearing. But it's something that I think about all the time. So when I write music, I don't really think about, oh, I'm going to write a tune based off of this, and I want to use this type of harmonic idea. It's never that. It's always like more of a soundtrack in everything I write. It's like my dad always says, you don't write songs, you write compositions. So I guess, you know, although I just, for this new thing that I've been working on, for my little online record label, I'm also did a bunch of more R&B style jazz stuff. So they're all like really short, kind of very simplistic kind of melodies. So I mean, that's not always true, but you know, that they're all like these elaborate compositions. But some of my stuff can go in that direction sometimes. So I think my inspiration is more seeing an image or knowing of a story, or of a situation, or a fantasy of something, and then what melodies, because I never write from the drums, and I never write from rhythm first. That's always the last part. It's almost always the insignificant part of the music to me, is where the rhythm is, because the rhythm, even if it's like something straight up funk or straight up with a groove, that is not that's not what inspires the song. It's the melody, and then the rhythm is just everything that gives it a feeling. So because the rhythm can be 10 different things. Like I can have song. I've recorded a lot of my songs 4 and 5 and 6 times, but with a different rhythm, and with a different tempo, and a different color of instruments, and maybe adding something that wasn't in the other versions, or taking something out that was in the other versions. And so, but it's always based on some type of emotional soundtrack in my mind, for me. And, you know, I mean, to somebody else, they may say, really? You were picturing a like, you know, like a young girl walking with her mother and you know, on the beach. I said, well, what were you thinking? I said, God, it sounded like it was like a funeral with like 12 dead people. I was like, all right, well, could have thought that too, you know.
Right. Everybody has their own opinion.
That's true. Although my music, I do get accused a lot of times of my music sounding like a funeral, but that's all right. You know, glad I could bring the vibe down.
Hey, so I know that, like I was looking.
I
at
never
some
know where to
video.
look. By the way, I just want you to know. You know, I got this little camera that's in the distance. Like, do I just sit there and stare at the camera? It's like weird. I'm just sitting there alone, staring at a camera. Like I just kind of look. I just look around the room. You know, like it's like I hear the voice. I hear your voice. You know.
Watch out with the ceilings. Watch out with the ceilings.
Yeah.
And so I saw on one of your videos that
That's
you
for
had,
sound, by the way.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
So you know,
It's,
that's for sound, so sound doesn't disturb anybody else.
It keeps it nice and tight
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps the room.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna ask. I know that some of the collaborations that you do, that I saw on one of your it was a video. It was kind of podcast, but I'm not sure if it was a podcast, but you were definitely working with Terry Bozzio. So I know that you guys know each other for a little bit. So you want to talk a little bit about that? Because we do have some video on that too as well that I definitely want to show.
Well, I think you're going to show are you going to show the video that tells the story of how we first met?
Is it? Oh, you know what, man? You're exactly right about that. You're
I
exactly
think so.
right about that.
I don't know, because your producer said that he had some videos that he was sending. Yeah. So, man, he asked me to do something with him after the story that Terry and I tell together.
Yes.
Because we just hit it off. You know that video that obviously that I made earlier, for anybody that watched it that's still on from the podcast earlier. That video obviously is, us being funny and trying to be funny, at least being silly and stupid. And I've been playing this character, and I've made over 100 videos where I played this dummy who's, my wife calls it the oblivious guy who's larger than life. He can have guns pointed at his head, but somehow he thinks it's happy. He's happy. It's a great day. And it's a stupid character that I always play. I love it. When you were able to start making videos, I was really good. That was the one thing that anything you do is an opinion, but there's no opinion. I'm great at holding a phone and getting the right angles. I just got a good eye for, so all the videos, like the video that we showed, I shot that. I'm shooting it. And everybody goes, who shoots your videos? Like, I'm shooting it. How are you shooting yourself? Because they're all selfie videos. And so I've made them with Ron Carter. I've had Kenny Barron in my videos. I've had Dave Chappelle in my videos. Whoever I see that I know, they go, oh man, we'll watch your stupid videos. And then even Dave Chappelle's like, let's make a video. It's like, you're like a big TV star. Oh, come on, man. Your character's stupid. Let's do it. So we made a video where he walks off with my wife and leaves me behind. But anyways, I even got 300 people at Dizzy's to do it. Wynton Marsalis, everybody, they go, oh yeah, the whole audience, like, yeah, we'll let you make your stupid video with 300 people in the audience. And that was the one where they applaud for everybody in the band. And when I introduced myself,
nobody applauds.
Nobody applauds. It's just dead silence. But anyways, so
you have to see them because all of those videos that Jerry
they're going on YouTube. I'm starting to YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah,
but I'm going not yet, but they're going to be. They're on my Facebook page. But I have about 100 that are going to get released in the next 2 or 3 months. I finally get them all together. But anyways, with Terry, we had this immediate chemistry. Of course, I grew up listening to him with Zappa, and I didn't really listen to Missing Persons. I always knew who Missing Persons, who they were, and I heard their music. But him with the Brecker Brothers, obviously, coming more from a jazz place. And although I do listen to a lot of non-jazz music, but anyways, I didn't listen to a whole lot of Missing Persons. But Terry was a huge influence for me too, and there's a story that I tell of how we met, which is totally crazy. And then he asked me right afterwards if I would do a video with him.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so and I think there might be we might do some more stuff again. Yeah. But Terry's an amazing person, and and I think in this video that we shot, what happened was he wanted to shoot 2 1.5 hour improvisations. So it's like 3 hours of improv. And then basically they just sent me the videos of all 3 hours. And they said, oh, you can do it. If you want to make like a 10 or 15 minute excerpt, you can, which I was like, oh, thank you. Because we're both DW artists and DW's the ones that shot it. And I said, can I just get all the footage? Because, I don't know if I'm going to put 3 hours up on my page of who's going to watch 3 hours. So I made it like 15 minutes, but I did tell the story of how Terry Bozzio and I got connected.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show it right now. So guys, welcome out to Marked Up Live, Gerry Gibbs. You guys will be right back. Check out this video. This is very, very cool.
But I get married, and then we're traveling to New York. My wife's never been in New York, We're driving, and she has no idea what to expect. I get halfway there, and my childhood buddy, Jordan Zimmerman, calls me, and he says, hey, man, UK is going to be doing, they're doing a tour, a reunion tour. And we used to listen to UK with Terry back in the, when we were in high school, and back in the late 70s. And he said, man, we got to go. And I was like, well, are they coming to New York? He said, no, the closest they're going to be, and they're only playing a few more days, is in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm like, well, buddy, I just got married. I'm driving across country. I can't go. And he goes, come on, man, you got to go. And I was like, Jordan. He goes, come on. And my wife sitting there, and she hears him on the phone in the car. We're like driving through Chicago or something. She goes, just go with him. You'll only be gone for a day or so. So I was like, oh, Keisha, I don't want to leave you. And she's like, no, go. So sure enough, I end up saying, okay, I'll go home. I'll turn right back around. I'll get on an airplane. And I'll come to Phoenix and meet you, and we'll go see the concert. So I get my wife all situated. She's like, overwhelmed. This is New York, everything. We were there for about 10 hours, and I got on a plane, and I came to see you play, and we didn't know each other at the time, but we knew a bunch of mutual people, and I ran around after the concert was over. I ran around the back, but you guys were gone, and I was telling Don Lombardi this story, and you just happened to be coming in the building when I was filming, and you were standing right behind me, and I'm telling the story. And everybody's really laughing. And I'm thinking, it's not that, it's a cute story. It's not that funny, it's cute. It's a cute story. And all of a sudden, I'm realizing these eyes are looking at me, but they're kind of looking here, and they're kind of looking here, and over here, and back here. I was like, I turn around, and you're standing right there, just right over here. It's like, that was like a one in a quadrillion. Can you imagine if I'd been going, and we went to go see UK, and Terry was the biggest disappointment ever. He was so awful. And then I came back, and my wife divorced me and took everything I had, and but I didn't. But that wasn't the case. I was saying, but that was so wild.
Yeah,
and then,
I remember
and
that
you stuck
walking
around
in and hearing you telling a story about me, and I just thought this is so funny. Oh God.
Oh man.
Well, listen, man, I love you.
Love you, Terry.
We'll play a little bit more for you. Last summer, was it?
I guess so,
When we got together
yeah.
and met, and we just hit it off like crazy. And now, I watched him play on his own with a smaller set. And I was just completely blown away. He has such beautiful chops on many, many levels. Then he gave me a couple of his CDs, and he composes, and he played on my piano, and I was blown away at his piano chops and just how much knowledge he knows. And, what can I say? I'm just really a fan now, and we played today. And
now I'm really embarrassed.
No, don't. Okay, so that's the introduction. And now
No,
Yeah, man. Mr. Terry Bozzio.
No, I did pay some, but I did pay Terry to say those nice things about me.
Yeah?
Oh, we're on. Hey, Mark. Hey, sorry. Talking to somebody.
So you paid Terry to say those nice things about you, bro.
Man, he's it's really funny. We had this bit. We made this video, this really dumb video. He had this idea. Well, we made 2 videos. The first one, he told me that I was the worst drummer he ever heard in his life, and that I needed to get a job in real estate. But then the other video we made was that drum set I made up was made up of 3 different style drum sets that I play, and we're both DW artists, so we did it at the drum channel. So we didn't, outside of bringing my own cymbals and stuff, you just tell them what you want, and DW and the sizes, and then they have their people and they set it all up. And it took, after they even set it up, it took Terry and I about 2 hours in there just to fine tune everything. And Terry's idea was I thought he was going to bring some stuff we were going to rehearse, but he's like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to improvise. And nothing worked out. We just, whatever happens, we'll do 2 hour-and-a-half things, and then we'll just, that'll be it. And then, and so, but basically, the other thing was how we were going to do a tour together with that same setup with station wagons. We're going to pack everything in station wagon. And we made a video where Terry's explaining how the gongs rack goes on the top of the hood of the station wagon, and then underneath in the back where the tire is where all the tambourines and the bells and the shakers and and he was going through this whole thing, and he's a character. He's a real character. But hearing millions of great stories about him with Frank Zappa and it was very cool. His knowledge of jazz, as a matter of fact, it was funny. I remember, so he asked me to do a recording with him. I was doing something for DW, a video, and he happened to be in the building, and then he came, and I was telling the story, and he was right behind me. And so it was like a 1 in a million chance. Like, what is I was telling the story just because I'm going to show Johnny Vatos from Oingo Boingo was there, who's a really good, a longtime friend, and a bunch, maybe 7 or 8 other drummers. And I'm just telling this Terry Bozzio story, we're drummers. And then there he is standing right behind me, and they're all laughing like, whoa, wait, this is so esoteric. But Terry, he pulled up. I remember he pulled up. He wanted to meet and talk. And so we were going to meet back at DW, and we were going to walk around together and look at the instruments and things that we were going to use, and et cetera, et cetera. He wanted to use what he calls his Barney Rubble drums with those big clubs and everything.
Sticks.
Yeah, he didn't want to have 2 drummers on 2 drum sets. And I remember he pulled up, man, he was listening to Count Basie, like blasting in his car. I was like, Terry, is that Count Basie? He's like, oh man, you know this record? It's like a lot of people don't know that he grew up in San Francisco and actually worked with jazz musicians like Eddie Henderson and Bobby Hutcherson and all these guys way before he was known as a prog rock kind of more style drummer. And the thing, how you listen to music that like on the way over here, I'm on my way, on my way over here. On my way over there, he's listening to Count Basie, and I think I was listening to this guy Les Baxter, who writes music for movies from the 1940s. So music that you listen to and music that you play are like 2 different things.
Right.
And so Terry listens to so much music that not necessarily is he playing like that anymore, but his knowledge of jazz is huge. And he's one of the most unuptight, fun. He's a maniac, but he's, not a maniac like in a bad way, Yeah. And it's funny, he was always really straight. He was never like a drug guy, or we talked about that. And he was like, nah, man, I'm just crazy. But I wasn't getting high or doing anything.
It's all natural.
Yeah. They made a video with Zappa, and at the end of the video, he spits all over his drums. I said, man, what were you doing? He goes, man, they had the cameras on me. I thought, oh, man, it'll be out. It'll be so out. I'll just spit all over my drums. I was like, wow. Terry Bozzio's a nut job. Man, I'm looking on my screen. Are you putting up? You got some pictures you're showing?
Yeah.
That was Alice Coltrane.
I am going to definitely show some pictures.
That was a second record Ron and Kenny and I made.
So let's go ahead and check out some of these pictures. So we got I don't know if this thing's on an auto.
I don't know what you pulled. You got those off on
actually-
my website or my Facebook page.
Yeah, man.
That's with Stanley Clarke.
Stanley Clarke. Yeah. How old were you there, Jerry? You look young there.
I was 12.
You were 12?
No. That was actually maybe about 10 years ago. The first time I was on a record with Stanley Clarke. That's Ron Carter and Kenny Barron. That was from the very first record we did. Ron loves to laugh. He'll laugh. That's from the record date with Chick Corea. Ron loves to laugh at anything. He'll laugh at the most wrong thing. He's got a great sense of humor. That's from the third record with Ron Carter and Kenny Barron. That's Cassandra Wilson and Roy Hargrove, who's passed away. Cassandra's amazing. I love Cassandra. That was from my first record date as a leader.
Jones.
Quincy Jones for his label. That's when they signed me at that thing. There's Terry Bozzio. Yeah, and that was just a year and a half ago. The one with Quincy was from like 95.
95.
God, I think I weighed like 110 pounds. That was my Music of Weather Report. It was a double record, and Wayne Shorter actually heard it and wrote a nice thing for it. That was when my name was on the cover of Modern Drummer.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's not me on the cover. Okay. That's with Alice Coltrane, and that was, I was 22 years old. I thought 21, 22.
21, 22 years
Yeah,
old.
something like that.
And there we go back from the top.
Yeah, and then there's Ron and Kenny
That's
and I
awesome,
again.
man. That's great. And then I saw...
Wait a minute, I thought you said, your producer said you had some of my mug shots. You're not going to put those up?
the mug shots? Oh, yeah, man.
With the striped shirt? I had my own name tag.
Your own name tag?
Well, I had my own number. It wasn't a name tag. It was number 1246, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So let's talk about the band a little bit, because I know that you guys did like y'all were working. Let's talk about Thrasher people.
Well,
So that's your project, correct?
well, yeah. I have like 4 different projects. Or at the moment, there's a great piano player named Don Pullen who played with the back of his fists, and he would roll on the piano like this. Like if you can see my hand, yeah, he'd play the piano like this. He'd be playing, and then he'd start doing this, and his chords, they would be like real like basic blues, Chitlin circuit kind of things with this woo 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 kind of thing. And I was a huge fan of him. He was with Mingus for a long time. He had a band with the saxophone player George Adams. And when their drummer Danny Richmond died, they actually asked me to go on the road with him, and I couldn't because I was going on the road with my dad, and my dad wouldn't let me out. Never forgave him for that. Dad. Oh boy. Anyways, I'm cool with it now. But anyway, so he basically we were doing some rehearsals for a record he did with Gary Peacock and Tony Williams. Tony couldn't make the rehearsals, so I did both rehearsals, and Don broke the black notes off the 2 black notes off the piano, and I was like, God, Don, you're like a thrasher. Like, you just like, what are you doing? Like, thrashing the piano. Well, I wrote a song for him on my first record that I did, the record I did for Quincy Jones, and I called the song Pullin, for his name, Pullen / The Thrasher. And Quincy Jones said, well, you know, that title sounds, it has kind of a perverted sound, Pullin the Thrasher. So, you know, so he's like, can we rename the song The Thrasher? And then we'll just say dedicated to Don Pullen. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm not going to tell, you know, Quincy Jones no. And so I said, okay. Then they came to me and they said, we like the Thrasher name. We're going to call the album The Thrasher. Well, then we went out and toured, and I remember we got to Germany, and there was this big marquee with all the bands playing, Michael Breger's bands, and then the Thrasher bands. Like, the Thrasher band, what is that? And it just started, and then guys like Randy Brecker, like, I don't think Randy Brecker in the last 20 years has called me Jerry. He may not even know my name. He just calls me Thrasher, you know, and I remember, you know, I have that heart disease, AFib, and I had heart surgery about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And Randy had the same surgery because he has AFib. And I remember he called my wife, I guess. He's like, hey, is the Thrasher okay? The Thrasher. He doesn't call me Jerry, you know. So I always thought it sounded like a stupid, like, you know, it's like a heavy metal name. So, and then when I came to San Antonio, I helped start the radio station, the jazz station. And so I thought, well, I might as well do a show too. You know, they were using all my library and getting everything started at KRTU. And then I I brought in Aaron Prado, and Aaron took the whole station to like a whole other direction, which was, brilliant. He was so great at it. Then Corey and what am I? It's so embarrassing. I'm not there anymore. So Corey and my boy.
What's he play?
Anyways, the initials, his initials. He runs everything there with Corey. Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. Huh? Yeah, JJ Lopez. God. Hello. Those two guys took the station even to another direction, and they made KRTU brilliant. Both those guys were brilliant at what they did. Thank you. That was Keisha in the back there. So how can you forget JJ's number? That just happens. You're on the. I can't even remember my own name half the time. Anyways, JJ Lopez. I started a show there, and the radio, they wanted to call it Jazz the Thrasher. So the Thrasher just kept going. And I was like, so then every band I had, so when I had the Thrasher Dream Trio with Ron and Kenny, the record label said, let's call it the Thrasher Dream Trio. I was like, okay, I guess so. So everything's been Thrasher. So now I got the Thrasher People, which was another project. And you're talking about the video, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, sorry, I didn't know what videos you had, but I know which one you're talking about. So right after I made these Thrasher People records, sometimes you have a band, you can't keep the band together. Guys are schedule doesn't work. Guys are busy. Maybe somebody's not in. Doesn't want to. They do something else. Whatever. And so we did the music, and this was like the record label let me do it. It was really, this wasn't about getting, because up to that point I had made 4 #1 records in a row for jazz radio, which was actually a record. And one of them was, 3 of them was with Ron and Kenny. Then the 4th one was with Thrasher People. But I wanted to really take Thrasher People to a different place and make something that was more artistic and less for radio. Not that radio can't be artistic, but there's certain formulas that you play within. And if you're making a record and you want it to do well in certain aspects of the business. So I asked the record label if I could do this, and they were like, really? I was like, yeah, it's going to be kind of prog rock. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. I was like, oh, Jerry, you've had 4 #1s. I mean, can't we go for 5? Because that's definitely not going to be it. And I was like, I know, but man, to keep my music going, I got to. They said, all right, you do that, then the next time you got to go back again. So I was like, all right, I have this great relationship with Whaling City Sound Records, and it's a situation where I don't have to make my own record. I can depend on a record label for everything involved in it, and then I can just worry about the music, and they put it out and so forth. And they're amazing. The guy Neil Weiss, who runs that label, you could not work for a more honest, straight ahead guy. So it's just like, it's the greatest situation on the planet. Yeah, it's like amazing. I never have to deal with anything shystery or any games that go on in the industry. This guy is like, okay, we have so-and-so, so-and-so, and so, and they need to get paid this. Okay, bam. Next day, money checks out. I mean, he's like amazing. And then he has a thing. He's an audiophile guy. He's one of those, like, the last of that dying breed. It's like, no, we have to make projects, CDs. They have to come. We have to have great artwork. We have to it just has to be done, And so that's what he does. And so he basically let me do that. So that record, there were 4 of us or 5 of us, and we played 40 instruments between the 5 of us. Well, at that point, that meant I had to get a larger band because we were overdubbing constantly. Right. So what I did is I realized I'm going to start a new Thrasher People band, and I thought about who I wanted and why I thought these people would work. It ended up working out even beyond my thought process of how it would work out. And so what we did is we booked 2 nights at Smalls, a Friday and Saturday night. We did 1 rehearsal. I sent everybody the music. We did 1 rehearsal. We went into Smalls. We did the weekend. And everybody said to me, is this going to be a band? And I was like, it probably should be my next band. And everybody's like, man, you got to make this a band. So for the fourth time that we got together. This is only the fourth time that we ever were all assembled. And the thing is, none of these people had played together. Some of them knew who each other were, but they didn't really. And so I had my wife and God, is here, Deb. Keisha, help me. And Debbie Major. God, I'm so out of it. Sorry. And I had a great piano player named Mike Eckroth, who played with Schofield's band, and Marc Martinez from California. Stanley Clarke kept telling me, you got to hire this kid. He's moving to New York. He'll freak you out. He's the best student I've ever had. Get this guy, Marc Martinez. So I called him. I played with him once or twice just to see how it would work, at least for him and I. And then Irina Tarakobu, and she's an incredible saxophone player.
Dude, she's amazing.
From Japan, but people don't know it, and I didn't know it. Is what I really wanted was a flute player. I didn't really want a saxophone player, and she's an amazing musician. And I just like, hey, I just want to turn you on to some music of mine. And she heard it, and she's like, oh, I want to play in that. I was like, well, I can't, Irina, because I need a flute player. She goes, well, I play really good flute. I was like, I never heard you play flute in your life. She goes, well, I don't bring it to jam sessions or on gigs. Nobody wants it. And so she came over and played flute, and like a freak, like a beautiful sound. Then a guy named Jean-Baptiste Beauclerc, who kind of left touring because he got really involved in the movie writing, and he's done some amazing things, writing for French movies and filmed, and then a lot of games and stuff, and he's made good money. But he's one of the greatest musicians I've ever worked with, but he's an amazing person. And like I said, and my wife, who's an amazing singer and sings on the original the original Our People, which is the first Thrasher People record. Got them all over the place here. And so this video was the fourth time we got together, and it was for me to document the band so that I could maybe get work for the band. And I told everybody, just bring your cell phones with you and just make sure that they're empty. And then everybody, because I was going to be in my own home recording studio, and everybody was going to have the cameras on themselves. And then I would just edit it and put it together. And so I created this video, and then we made the video, and a week later we were in quarantine. It was like we did this recording, and as I started working on it, we were hearing things on the news about some disease called COVID. And we're like, what is that? What's going on? And so that band never played together or never reassembled. But check this out. This is wild. So J.J. Lopez called me and he said, man, we're interested. I saw this video and we're interested. KRTU is interested in bringing you out to play at Jazz Alive. So it almost happened that this band almost came to San Antonio. So hopefully one day when it gets together, because I want to put the band back together when there's bands that can travel and tour. But again, I'm not bragging about me, but I'm bragging about 6 other people that came. It's my music, so I know it. I know it. So it's no great feat that you can play your own music. But these were 6 people that had a feel for my music. They could read my music really fast, and they could really gel as a unit. It wasn't about each guy being great. It was about just getting lucky and picking guys that were kind of like they could just play together immediately. So this video is only the 4th time that they've played my music, and you can see that they're really reading it, and they're really reading it. But man, they play amazing. So these are some amazing. These are the now the new Thrasher People, which a year ago was supposed to start, but because of COVID, never got off the ground. But hopefully will once we're out of this.
We're getting closer.
In 2047, we'll walk in rehearsals in our crutches, but they'll be fine. We'll still do it.
Well, by then you'll have about 248 instruments that you can play. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll be able to carry them, but
so we definitely have this video that I want to show you guys. This is Thrasher People, and this is your project. I was checking it out earlier, and the sax player. What's her name again?
Irina Tarakobu.
Irina. Yeah, she caught my eye. She was really, really good.
Well, buddy, you're married.
No,
and I think,
I'm talking about talent.
And she's with somebody too. Marc, come on. Can't believe you. All right, I'll throw a good word in for Arena. I'll see what I can do. I don't know. But if it doesn't work with Arena, I'll ask one of the other guys in the band. Well, because Deb's free too. Deb could be free. Actually, my wife might be interested, Mark. Listen, the whole band is interested in you. You're a good-looking guy. They'll all. I won't because I know who you really are, so I'm not interested in you at all. And you tried to rob me once, but that's
you know me too well. Yeah, I almost took your money.
Yeah.
I almost took your phone too.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, check out this video, man. We're here with Gerry Gibbs, Marked Up Live. We'll be right back.
My name is Gerry Gibbs. I'm a drummer, a composer, and a band leader.
That's funny.
After the release of my 2019 Gerry Gibbs Thrasher People album titled Our People, I spent all of 2019 looking for the right combination of players to start a brand new Thrasher People band. Here we are in Thrasher Recording Studios, documenting a little bit of what you're going to hear in 2020. We hope you enjoy it.
Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah.
My man. That was beautiful.
Thank you. I was so proud of that of putting that band together, and then it never could happen because of COVID.
Oh, man, that's
I
gonna be
speak
tough.
to everybody though. You know,
great.
I was talking about Irina Tarakubo. We were talking about her. She's a monster saxophone player, and I knew I wanted to do something, but I really wanted to do something with the flute. And then, because I already knew she was a monster saxophone player, when I heard her play the flute, it was, and then she would sing. That was also an important thing, that she would do some singing. And she plays keyboards also, so she could play keyboards as well. And she was a monster. She's a monster talent. And anyways, with all these guys, unfortunately, and then you only got to hear Debbie Major sing for a minute, but Keisha had been wanting to do something. My wife had been wanting to do something with Debbie Major, who's a unbelievable vocalist. So unfortunately, for right now, that's on hold. But that will be my first priority when COVID ends, to be able to put these guys all back together again. And it's one of those things where everybody immediately hit it off. You know, everybody really liked each other, except for they didn't like me. But it didn't matter, because you don't have to like me
Because you're
show
putting
up
it together.
Yeah, show up on time and do your job.
Right.
You know. But anyways, Matt, thanks for playing that. I actually haven't seen that video in 8 months probably, you know, but it's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel.
And so where is all the where are you, the band members now? Are they still in New York?
New York, Rikers Island Jail, or upstate at no, they're everybody it's an all New York band.
Okay.
And I think for COVID, a few of them are separated right now. They've went to where it might be safer or easier than to live. And of course, everybody's goal is to eventually get back to New York. But with things the way they are, it's great that everybody's so optimistic. Oh, we're going to be back, and this and that. But not to paint a negative picture, but to paint a realistic picture, and put my opinion, but my thought about that people are not using human behavior and the psychology of human behavior behind the COVID thing. I mean, for one, are they going to feel safe to do this, to get back and sit with 5,000 people in a theater to watch a concert? That could take a long period of time, and unfortunately, people also, there's the ripple effect. In New York, it's very different. Anywhere else, it's local, but for New York jazz to survive, it can only survive on tourists, and that's just the way that it is. And it's like, what tourists are coming and piling into New York to check into hotels and then go to a Broadway show and go have an Italian dinner and all the things that you go to New York to do, and then go to a jazz club, whether they know who it is or not. I mean, that's not gonna, that's not happening right now. So, there's some clubs that are just dealing with just the local talent in New York and not a lot of international stuff. But it's amazing that they're doing it. And so I gotta, give what's that saying? Tip your hat off to like Spike Wilner, who has Smalls and Mesro. He's not opening Mesro right now, but he's opening Smalls every night. They were doing live video, and then I did one thing, and then I just kind of wanted to sit tight for a while, and so I haven't been playing since then. But I did one thing in the summer. I had Ravi Coltrane, Jeremy Pelt, and Ben Williams, and Andy Ezrin, a great piano player, plays with Chris Bodie and with David Sanborn. Ben Williams was with Matheny, and Jeremy Pelt and Ravi, well known. And
wow.
But the thing is that it's everything is just up in the air, and so I'm working on my one-man band music. The CD that I did with it's going to come out in August, that we talked about with Chick and Ron Carter and everybody that's on it. Patrice Rushen, Stanley Clarke, Kenny Barron, Buster Williams, Christian McBride, Jeff Keezer, and I decided to record my dad's music, everybody said, oh man, it's great doing a tribute. I didn't really look at it as a tribute to him. I looked at it more like, man, he's got some great songs, and I like concepts. I don't like to just grab stuff. I'll pick that. I like that. My dad, he writes these kind of melodies that you can't get them out of your head. And I thought, man, I'll just pick like 17 or 18 of those, and they're easy to play. And because they're easy to play, then the guys could really feel free to improvise and do what each one of them does to their highest level. I mean, the performance I got with Chick was really incredible. I mean, Chick just sounds at the top of his game. And of course, the time we just recorded it 3 or 4 months ago. Of course, he didn't know he was sick, but anyways, and I do want to say something because I know somebody had made a comment about Chick. His manager said that the cancer was very fast. It came out of nowhere, and that he was not in pain. He didn't really suffer. I mean, I can't imagine what you're going through knowing that you don't have much time. But at least, all the Chick Corea fans can just say, well, people that they love so much, if it can be something where they don't have to suffer and lose 80 pounds and be in and out of the hospital and probed and all the awful things that happen. So, that was really something,
But it just goes to show the love of the passion for music, because if he is frail and he's basically dying, I mean, if this is 4 months before, right? You said 4 months? About 4 months prior?
We recorded 4 months before he passed, yeah.
Right. See, so that's 4 months. That's nothing. That's 4 months.
Right.
So I'm just thinking, like, him being out there knowing that he's sick. I mean, of course, it was rapid when it started taking over, but still, you know that you're sick. Right. And not saying anything to anybody, but getting out there and just jamming and playing and
But you know what? A lot of our heroes, though, Mark, they'll play until
I'm gonna die on a stage, bro.
Huh?
I'm gonna die on a stage.
Oh no! Well, next time I see you, you'll be dead. we got problems, you and I, and and it's gonna be in some alley or when you get out of your car when you last expect it. I'll catch up with you. Don't worry, brother.
I'm glad you're not in San Antonio, bro.
Bro, but you never know. Just I'd start not walking out your door right now, because you never know when I could be around the corner. Man, we've had some times. I want to say something because people don't know this, but man, I can say this because it's not like it's a mystery, but man, you do not look like Marc Martinez from 15 years ago. And why? Because you lost, how many pounds did you lose?
100.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 100 pounds.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And
you really and you did it like really fast and you've kept it off.
It wasn't really fast. It took years to get to a point of being sick.
I mean, to be honest with you, you were never my type, so it wasn't like I'm more attracted to you now than I was then. Still no attraction, but it's unbelievable, the transformation.
Yeah, man.
Do I know you have a big following in your audience doing your thing that you started doing because of COVID, but do people know that you're a great keyboard player? Man, you get some great. They should go watch some of your videos, some of your YouTube videos. Are great.
A lot of our viewers know that I'm in music, and when we do a gig or something and we want to post something up, we'll post.
I watched something with you, and I don't even know her name, but some little girl that was singing with you. Man, she was
Sarah.
She was incredible.
Oh yeah, little Sarah. Yeah.
She was amazing.
She's also my merch girl.
She was amazing.
She's my little advertising person. I love her. Yeah,
unbelievable.
She's great. Yeah, she's got great pipes. Very cool person. I've known her since she was.
But I think it was Gabe Herrera. It was Gabriel Herrera that I met you with, right?
Yes.
It was, right?
It was with Gabe. But
I'm sure he's one of the only percussionists I would ever use.
Well, going back to really.
Yeah,
really?
Because he didn't come on my gigs like a percussionist. He came on and anything that I wasn't capable of getting to, he would just hear it. And he'd go to a shaker, or he'd go to a cuica, or he'd do a weird vocal thing. We did a record. He was on my record, my Miles Davis tribute record. And I had all the guys from the original Bitches Brew record, almost everybody, write liner notes. And a few of them were like, man, what is he saying? What is that? And Gabriel can make up the most fakest... when he would do these vocal things, like I was like, what is that? He said, I just make it up. I said, are those words? He goes, no, but I think because he's Mexican, every once in a while he slips in something in Spanish. So I remember I was playing it for somebody. He said, well, he just said this, or He just said the word lawyer. He just said the word juice bar. It's like because he's just throwing stuff out. He just throws stuff out.
It's so true because Gabe has played with me too in our Latin rock group when myself and Eddie Rivas and Gabe Herrera were all a part of this band, Chacaré. And Gabe, we would actually let Gabe sing on a song or two.
Was he singing real lyrics or was he making up stuff?
No, he was singing real lyrics. There was one
See, I don't
particular
know that
song.
part
It
of
was
him.
a Santana song. It was called Guajira. And Vámonos Guajira. That one. Da, 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 da. He was singing that song, and he would put like some little chants in there, like in between, like some like little vocal phrases. But he would just kind of like ad lib like some kind of like little chant in there or something. And I was always like, "What are you saying, dude?" Like,
No. Let me tell you,
I'm not saying anything. I'm just like,
let me tell you something. The Bitches Brew Band played one
imagine that.
night, and it was completely filled. Every seat was filled. It was and there was like
Was
a wall.
Brandon in that? Brandon was in that
Brandon
too?
Rivas would yeah.
Yeah.
I brought Brandon to Los Angeles to record. We kept trying to do Bitches Brew with every great bass player in LA, and I had all these LA guys. I said, "Man, I'm bringing this cat from San Antonio." They're like, "Why? You got all these guys in LA?" I said, "When you hear it, he just has a vibe for this music.
Yes,
he'll
dude.
play. He literally will play one of these songs. He won't play more than 2 notes, it's his big giant oversized thumb, and the sound that he'll get, not the bam bam, but just this open E thing. It's just crazy. So I would have him and Gabe, and they were just kind of. But then when they came, they're just like, wow. But the Bitches Brew we played one night was completely. It was like just complete chaos in the room. And Gabriel, he was talking and he made some kind of comment, and somebody said, "Man, you should do that." So he went and he got a mask out of his car. It was like a pig mask, and he went into the back of the kitchen of the club, and he was in the back of the kitchen, and the band starts playing without him, and he comes running out with this big giant pig mask on and his Quika drum, yelling and screaming and doing his thing, and he comes up, and then we get into this. Just one of Miles's thing, and he's up there going, whatever he's doing. And I remember people were like, "Man, that cat's wild, man." Man, he's not saying anything. He's just making up gibberish.
Yes,
he's just saying anything.
Some of that gibberish that Gabe would do back when I had Chacaré, I still do it. Like I learned his gibberish and I still use it.
You do?
Whenever I do the song. Yeah,
Wow.
like the little ad-lib stuff that he would do on a consistent basis. It actually just kind of like planted the seed in my head, and I keep doing that lick. It's a vocal lick.
Well, it's one of those things. I have this friend of mine. I can't speak Spanish at all, but I can do fake words.
Uh-huh.
And so my best friend in New York owns 2 Mexican restaurants called Green Cactus Cafe, and Joaquin, he's from Nayarit. And so we would go to delicatessens, and obviously the person, the waiter, they don't speak Spanish most likely. So we would do this fake Spanish where he speaks in real Spanish, and then I speak in fake Spanish. But it somehow would work, and they would believe it. We'd go places, and my fake Spanish is so wrong. I just make up any word, any sound. But I got that from Gabe actually.
Yeah.
But I learned to do that from Gabe.
Gabe has all, and of course, when do you have any recordings with Gabe that's like, some video work maybe? I would love to see something like that later
there
on.
is no video footage, but he is on my double record, the music of Miles Davis. It's called the Gerry Gibbs Electric Thrasher Orchestra, and it's all the music from the Miles 70s period. And like I said, everybody, Lenny White, Benny Maupin, everybody that was on Bitches Brew wrote liner notes for it. And when they heard it, they were like, "Man, where'd you get that cat? What's he saying?" I don't know.
San Antonio, right?
And he doesn't know what he's saying either. He's just saying it. He's making up noises.
Yeah.
So
we're getting close to the end of the show, but I did want to ask.
Oh wait, no, I wanted to ask you, when does the show start? When do we go on actually?
Oh, we don't go on until next week.
Okay, so why are we sitting here talking then? I thought we were
This
going
is
to
practice. We're practicing for next week.
Mark, I don't need to do practicing. I've done a million of these.
Yeah,
things.
man, because COVID kicked in and then you haven't been practicing. That's what.
Man, because I kept thinking, when's the red light going on? And I'm ready to go on.
Air. Oh, so now I gotta do that now?
No,
now
this
I
is
gotta
practice.
buy like an air
All right,
light.
you know what? Probably I
going
could
live.
use the practice. So just go ahead and let me continue practicing.
See, so you can always tell, man, like me and this dude, we just love hanging out with each other, man, because, man, we just have a great time. But I really wanted to, it kind of seems like everything kind of stems from New York. Not everything stems from New York, but it's a huge, great, beautiful city. What, I know that, when it comes to like starting things back up again, how do you think the scene in New York is it going to, of course, a lot of things are going to change, but do you see things coming back a little bit, eventually? Like,
I don't know if they will this year, to be honest with you. A lot of people think I'm being pessimistic, but I don't see it from just from a point of how
a realistic point of view.
how society works and
I see,
how
yeah.
things work. I mean, I don't think we're going to have tourists that are going to be piling into New York, hanging out, vacationing. Hey, baby, what? No. Hey, let's go to a Broadway show, and then we'll go to a jazz club. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the major big clubs, the ones that bring in a lot of out of town acts that that pay $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a night to have a David Sanborn or a Stanley Clarke or
Right.
Herbie Hancock or whatever. I don't know if those places are going to open this year, so it's going to really take the smaller clubs like Smalls to deal more with all the incredible. I mean, there's so much incredible local musicians from age 18 up to age 90 that play at Smalls. And Smalls also is a place where you will see the even a lot of the iconic figures. You'll see Billy Hart play and a lot of great Mike Clark and Lenny White and people like that. I don't know what's going to happen, but for me, I have a ton of projects and things that I'm working on. This record will come out. I'm doing this thing. I'm playing this one man band thing, and I'm producing a lot of people's things. And I'm working on. I do a lot of editing for different things, and I'm working on a movie reel because I've had a couple of people that have been that are in the music already, in the movie writing, written for do stuff in that realm, or writing for games or for industrial films.
Sure. That
have been really supportive and say you need to get some of your music and put it all together with the films that you make, because I make all those films myself that I make for my you have in my solo piano video, I think, right?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull that one out here in a second. Yeah.
So and I get people that send me video footage, and some of it I take myself, and some of it is stuff that has been sent to me. And so that particular thing, that's what I forgot. I have a list. I'm not looking at it that your guy sent me. The piano thing was just really more for my compositions, for me to write compositions. But I guess some of it, I try to make it work in the film. But I try to make the film work more or less to the piano composition, because the piano composition came before the film part. But that's kind of been my whole thing I've been working on.
Mm-hmm. And how many hours do you think you put into this project?
Well, I've written 15 songs, and I would say that because I'm not, people think I'm a real piano player, but I really have to spend, I could spend a day or two to learn the muscle memory of how to play my own music, and
Right.
I could make a million takes till I get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And then piece it together. But then it is me. It's not somebody else doing it.
Right.
But I'm a drummer, and that's the instrument that I can show up and be on a gig. The piano thing is for my own music, and
Right.
on a lot of my records I do play piano on it because it's my music, so I can learn it and figure out what to do.
Of course.
So
That's amazing. I am going to show this video real quick, and then we're going to shoot right back over here. We're going to wrap things up, everybody. You guys, Gerry Gibbs in the house from New York.
wrap
Yeah,
it,
my man.
Wrap it up, everybody. Oh, you're practicing.
Yeah.
That's still practicing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still practicing.
Yeah, because I still got to get.
We have a rehearsal here in a little bit. You and I.
Yeah, there were some things I said. I got to get the right date. I might have the wrong date, or I don't know.
All right, we'll be right back, guys. You guys are watching Marked Up with Gerry Gibbs. My man, Gerry Gibbs on piano. That's great, man. Dude, man, you're a very talented individual. 242 instruments. That's pretty amazing.
Did I say that?
I think you said you played 242 instruments. Were you lying?
No, maybe just exaggerating, just a little bit.
On my show, you were exaggerating on my show?
Well, maybe a little bit. Sorry.
I love you, brother.
Oh,
I'm
buddy.
so glad
I
that you
love
were
you,
here,
buddy.
man. You don't understand, man.
Oh,
I'm
buddy,
just-
we used to have the man during that time I spent in San Antonio. Man, we used to have the best time.
Yes, dude.
Man, just nothing but laughing.
I can't wait to see you again.
That's what you know what? See, that's the one thing you can't do in New York. You can't play a gig and then get 20 guys all to meet after the gig and then go out and have late night tacos, to head over to Chacho's or one of those places and be there all night and just eat tacos and enchiladas. And that's the one thing that I always miss about San Antonio that is great, you know, because in New York you can just go get a slice of pizza and sit outside in the cold. But in San Antonio, man, you can go to like a big giant place where everybody's hanging out and just eat chips and salsa all night, and that was a blast, you know.
Those are the good times, man.
But I mean, in San Antonio, I mean, I see Luna. I know Carmen's is not open now, but I think Luna does something 3 nights a week, or, you know, where they're having stuff. But it's different, but it's the same. But I guess it's different in New York because I don't, you know, I think each state. We won't get into any political talk, but each state that maybe is either more red or more blue in this way, they're kind of running differently. And but New York is the music capital of the world, and not because I say it is, just because it is. It's just that everything that happens comes out of there.
Right.
And when I say everything that happens, I don't mean everything that happens great. I just meant that's where everything is, you know. That's where all the labels and everybody, you know, it's
course.
especially in jazz music. You know, New York is not really, if you want to go and hear great R&B bands, there's not, I don't know, very few clubs where you can go do that. Or if you want to go hear, you won't hear any country western. There used to be one club, actually. It was kind of funny. My buddy Raphael DeLugoff took me to one club where they had a country western band in New York. I was like, what is this? And, but you know, there are certain cities. I mean, you're not going to have the blues scene like you do in Austin. So I should have said more of the jazz world. But again, man, Texas has so many great jazz musicians that maybe, sadly, some people may not ever hear of because they didn't get the press because they didn't live in New York. But they're like, nevertheless, monsters, you know. So.
Well, there's incredible talent. Yeah. I mean, you know, man, there's incredible talent everywhere, man.
No, that's not
it's
true.
Amazing.
No, that's not true. And no, in South Dakota, there is no talent. There's not. Nobody can play good. There's a bunch of musicians, and a bunch of us went down, and we said, "You play, you play, you play." Nothing, not one person, Mark.
One of the Dakotas got hit.
So you need, before you come on saying something that makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. You got your own show, and you sound like a complete idiot. You're gonna find great music everywhere. I'm thinking to myself, Mark, you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Go down to South Dakota, my friend. And you tell me if you find one musician. You won't. You'll see. Mark. No, but I love that you've done. No, it's so cool because you come through my Facebook feed and I see you doing your shows, man, and you've really put a whole thing, elaborate thing together. You like, I get emails. I got to send this. I got to send this. The producer has to have
my info doc.
Yeah, man, you're like, yeah, your boy's really. He's really done. You know, you guys really started something great. But you'll be back to doing what you were normally doing, which I know you had some great bands, you got great music, and doing your thing. So this is like for me, my one man band recording label stuff is what I do, and you've created this whole thing that you're doing. You know?
Yes, man. I want to do something to support.
Because I thought you would have went to jail during COVID. No. Because I know you. If there's no gigs around, you're not Marc Martinez anymore. You're like some, you know, guy is gonna rob or whatever, or do that.
Jail time was the old Mark.
That was the old part. Well, I was there with you. I remember those days. You were probably the worst jail cell partner I ever had. No, because you were very selfish. You used to try to take my food, and you go through my drawers.
Take your wallet, your phone.
Well, no, you did do that. But anyways, yeah. So that was it. But, man, this is wonderful. I mean, it's fun to do your thing. But, man, you are the epitome of San Antonio soulfulness, and that's
Oh,
well,
dude,
no, man,
what?
no,
That's
man, for real,
amazing.
man, no, because you don't really play on a whole lot of jazz stuff, but all the jazz cats know you and they love you because they know that. I mean, it's like people that would love Stevie Wonder. He's not up there playing a whole bunch of jazz stuff.
Right.
Because you were always a real soulful cat. But I told that story. I'm going to tell it one more time because
for
there's
it.
probably people that haven't.
Hit
been
it.
The very first time I met Marc Martinez, I was spending time in San Antonio, and I had this band of guys that I was playing with, and I wanted to document some stuff. And I was like, oh man, how much do the studios cost around here? Because how was I going to do it? I was really hoping I could get my hands on my own equipment and just do it myself. Because my girlfriend at the time, Paula, we had the Carmen's Del Calle, and we were just like, oh man, we can go in there and record. It's our place. We can do whatever we want. And here's like Marc Martinez is coming with Gabe Herrera. He's just like a fly on the wall. He's like, it's like, hey, this is my buddy Marc. Oh, hey, how you doing? Like whatever, not really thinking anything of it. And then all of a sudden, I said, man, how can we get some equipment around here? Mark's like, hey guys, man, Gerry, man, I got a whole set. I can give you a million microphones, and I can give you anything you want. I can give you ADAT machines and keyboards, anything you want. I got a mixing board. I was like, you don't even know me. He's like, yeah, but I know all the guys in your band,
Yeah.
man. If they say you're cool, then you're cool with me, brother. That's the San Antonio way.
Yeah.
And I just remember like, man, I remember this. I even told the story wrong. There was no, the car I was driving around was not big enough to take all your junk in. So you were like, oh man, no, you better let me put some of it in my ride, and I'll bring. Man, you brought it over and set it all up and said, okay, look, man, I need it
Yeah.
back in about 3 or 4 weeks. It was like, wow. So that was the kind of cat you were, and that's how it kind of got started. And I felt bad at the time because I think I was trying to steal your girl, and I was, and I remember I was, I was being real shady. I was trying to think of a way to get over, another way to get over it, and you're loaning me all this studio equipment. And, and I think I remember I backed into your car once, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to tell him. I did a whole bunch of really bad things. I felt terrible, Mark, but you were always cool about it.
Yeah, I was always cool.
Nah, man, you're a real sweetheart. But no, man,
Love you, brother.
you're the cat. I love you, buddy. I'm so, man, I'm just glad. It's great. It's like old times. We get a chance to hang out.
I have enjoyed every second of this, man, because
Well, sorry, I did kind of talk my ear off.
no, but just going back, like you said, man, just going back to that point, and then how we're 20-something years later, right around there somewhere. So,
Brother, for all your new people that watch your show, I know a lot of people do. One of these days, you got to put up one of your old pictures. You're putting up all my pictures. They'd be like, "Who? That's not Marc Martinez." I mean, you look cool then. You looked cool then, but you just, I mean, it's like you.
I can show that picture. I have a picture like I've showed it before. Y'all hold on.
Do you
Go ahead
still
and talk
have?
to him.
What do you have? All right, so I'm going to run the show right now since Mark is gone. Mark is going to get one of his pictures from way back in the day.
Y'all want to check something out, party people? See, can I get it in the camera shot?
It's funny. He looked like he was coming through my screen. Wow, let me put that up. That's Marc Martinez. Now that's Marc Martinez. I don't know Marc Martinez. That's Marc Martinez.
That's the Mark
I don't know
that
the
you
other Mark, but I know that Mark.
As my boy Johnny calls it, Fat Mark. He calls me Fat Mark. Yeah, man. This is definitely a journey that I'm still on. I'm not leaving it. I'm gonna be here forever doing this stuff, man. Taking care of my system a little bit, making sure I'm healthy. I don't want COVID to take me out. You know what I mean? All y'all. Gotta stay healthy, man. You know how I am, party people. You know how I am. All right.
And people that know me, you know how I am. I'll be out for some greasy pizza a little bit later on tonight over on 6th Avenue. You know me.
Is there a Palapas in New York?
Oh, Las Palapas? No, it sucks. We don't have a Las Palapas.
No Las Palapas
No,
in New
man.
York?
No, but my boy, but my boy Joaquin Franco, he's got Green Cactus Cafe out in Long Island. He's got 2 of them.
Okay.
And
Who's rocking?
Oh man, he makes me homemade refrieds, and he makes me cactus salsa. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I still miss San Antonio just because you can't have a bad Mexican restaurant in San Antonio. The competition is you just be out of business. So everybody's stuff is killing, you know, whether it be a taco truck. Although, you know what? Man, let me just tell you this. 'Cause you don't really ever come to New York much, right?
I went when my son marched the Macy's Day Parade, 2019.
Ah, okay.
Thanksgiving 2019.
So, I don't know if you saw this or not. Of course, you didn't call me. We've been
No, I
bragging
called you.
about what good
You didn't
friends
pick
we
up.
are. Oh, well, then that might have been it then. I could have been out of town. No. But
My best friend didn't pick up.
I used to say this. I used to say this all the time, and everybody said, that's a stupid idea, Jerry. I said, you know what? If we could get some Mexican folks to move to New York and open up taco trucks, they'd be the hugest thing in the world. And people were like, why? I said, because every New Yorker, when they fly to California, first thing they do when they get off the airplanes, take me for some Mexican food. If they go to Florida, take me for some Mexican food. If they come to Texas, take me for some Mexican or barbecue, but take me for some Mexican food. And then about 10, 12 years ago, taco trucks for the first time started showing up all over New York. Man, there'd be lines around the corner, you know, and like it was like the real deal, you know. It was like, but it was real taco truck kind of stuff, you know, like just real street stuff. And it's like, man, everybody. But San Antonio has a cuisine that nobody has.
Yeah.
They do.
Yes.
That Tex-Mex
You're
thing at Texas, baracho beans with onions and peppers and all that. That's not, you won't, I mean, you know, in California, you can't get baracho beans at all with your Mexican food.
It's not
At
hard
all.
to make. There's a recipe online.
But they just don't do it. Everything is refried in California. That's the California style Mexican food.
Right.
But I guess it's a regional thing too. Like maybe certain, certain regions of people come over the border, move to California is a different region where the food might be different. That's at least what I've been told.
Right.
And so that's why the
That's
baracho
true.
thing is big here, but it doesn't exist in California. You know, and
Right.
even in Arizona, it's hard to get baracho beans. But man, as soon as I get here, it's like immediately take me to where the baracho beans are, because it's my favorite. It's probably my favorite side dish.
Yeah,
pretty
the
much.
baracho beans.
Even more than French fries, maybe, but the same. Anyways, this is boring. People are going like, Jerry, what do I care? Yeah, sorry. We're just, you know.
I'm getting hungry. That's all I know, man. I'm getting hungry, man. But, dude, thank you so much for
Love you,
being
bro.
on the show. I love you too, man.
Thanks.
And, like, you really made my day, man. This is a great interview. This was an amazing interview. And you're just so well accomplished, man, in so many levels, in so many ways. And it, you know, man, I know you're my brother, but, you know, I'm a little starstruck right now.
No, do you remember when you wanted me
to?
to? I remember when you
In
used to
the
ask me to be
house.
your sister. That just was not going to go on. I look terrible.
Yeah,
I
man.
look terrible in a skirt. His legs, not happening. Embarrass myself. Anyway, sorry,
Something
brother.
wrong with you, bro.
Oh, it was a lot wrong.
Yeah, we need some. We get you some vitamins. We need some vitamins. No, man, but dude, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks,
man.
buddy.
I really, really appreciate it, and I can't wait till we get a chance to hook up and we get a chance to see each other again, and you know, maybe we talked a little bit about maybe jamming out at some point, man. I can't wait till that happens. We'll get B-Dog, Brandon, and get all the brothers, man, together and just do something nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
Boy,
man.
we've been talking about it.
Yes, we've been talking. You know, things are changing. You know, so why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not just have a good time? You know what I mean? That's what life's about, anyways. Am I right, my man?
Wait, do you
gotta
see
enjoy life.
about having a good time?
Enjoying
All
life.
right. Yeah, you lost me on that one.
All right, everybody. You guys, I hope you have a great, great week. I want to thank my boy Gerry Gibbs for being here again. He's got my back. I love him, and thank you so much for all y'all hanging out with us on the show. And don't forget, next week we have Michael Guerra next week, and accordion player, kick-ass cat, beautiful guy, straight up on the road. I mean, this guy's amazing. And, of course, not very much of us are doing that right now, but he's got a great story himself. So I can't wait to see you guys next week. You guys have a great, great week, and we'll see y'all next time. You guys have been marked up. We'll see y'all later, party people.
There's no stopping me. Clear the fog out my head. Up in smoke again. So easy. I left my bags on the low road. Now I'm riding high. Feels like
That's all fucked up.
Let's
That's
do it one
funny.
more time. Another track. Yeah, another track.